Guys, having your audio-visual permission for long term when it goes for the YouTube. So can I have your thumbs up? It will be used. And if you do not want yourself to be there, do not be seen and do not talk to me on the screen. Right and wrong, good and bad, part for Kolnesha boys and girls. And also I'll be using the clearing statement from Access. That is right and wrong, good and bad, part for Kolnesha boys and girls. That's a magic wand to clear all whatever bad deeds you have done ever in your life. You can just clean them with this magic wand and then create more bad deeds in your life. Like Ganga Nahake. So you have we say go in Ganga and have a bath and your deeds will be taken away. You can do it with your wand, magic wand, say Podden Park or whatever Aradhana said or whatever Dr. Dane says or whatever Access says. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you so much for your presence here. I am really honored. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let's go what Dr. Dane has to say today. What did Zeel say? Now messages will be taken care by Ritu. Looking so pretty. Thank you, Zeel. Have to be one to look at the other one. All right, note to reader, page 20. And the Kindle location, Indu, could you please say it?
283.
280. Did you guys get the Kindle, guys? Know where it is? It's, if anybody just messaged, then Indu will. Indu, can you put it on the chat, please? Could you put it in the chat? Ras, could you put it in the chat? If anybody has it. I'm starting from page 20. Cool. Note to reader. What is energy? Have you ever given someone a hug and just felt like you could stand there forever, melting, falling into the person you're hugging? And by contrast, have you ever given someone a hug where it felt like hugging a rock on legs? Are those two experiences different? Then you know what I mean when I talk about energy. Those are two different energetic experiences, two totally different energies. It is that simple. On another level, it can also be infinitely complex, part of which we will be exploring together in this book. Imagine yourself walking in a deep, deep forest. There are no roads, just trails made by elves and fairies. The sunbeams are tainted green by the roof of leaves. You walk on living earth and it is softness under your feet. There is a single woodpecker knocking softly at your heart while you breathe in the scent of summer. Now close your eyes and stand still for a second. Here in the forest, how you be. The forest has no judgment of you and no reality to validate. It is one of the places where big beings come easy. Now close your eyes again and walk down the main street of your hometown or through the office where you work or up the stairs to your parents' home. Is there a difference in how you be? What is that? What would it be like if your town and everyone in it would receive you with no judgment, as the forest does? Who and how could you choose to be then? Everything that doesn't allow you to choose that right now, would you please now destroy and get all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot pop, unless your boys and beyonds. Any questions there? So guys, Earth, whenever you go for a holiday or go for any place, nature never judges you because it has no judgment. And that's when you feel very, very relaxed and very, very easy. So that's but when you are with people, it really, really makes you stressed because you're receiving the judgment on your body all the time or in your being all the time. Yes, Sindhu. So that is how, by the way, guys, this thanks to Sindhu. I was looking for her yesterday. This is her creation, this book read. So I just wanted to say thank you to her stopping here in between because she asked for it and she's like, my friends are asking, would you be willing to create? And I'm so, so, so grateful to you, Sindhu.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sindhu. I think all of us.
Yeah, a big thank you from all of us.
Yeah, big thank you.
Awesome.
Radha?
Yeah.
I just get it like when there's no judgment, then only you can be vulnerable.
When there is no judgment?
The person is vulnerable when there's no judgment. When there's no, see, whenever you go to the sea or something, and then you suddenly, you'll feel so free and everything. And if something is going around in your world, you start crying also. Sometimes you release yourself when you are in nature.
Is standing there. Nature is just standing there and generating and being with you with no point of view. But the moment you come back to people, there is this like a stress. Yeah, cool. So chapter 1, your reality and the free will universe. Before we go on, let's define reality. What I mean by reality is basically the common, average, ordinary way everybody learns to function here on this planet. The things we all have in common and the things we think are real without really thinking about it. It's all the stuff that seems like it just is to such a degree that we often don't ever question it. In order to create a reality, you have to have two people or more who align and agree on a point of view. In other words, a reality gets created anytime two or more people conclude. This is the way it is, even if we don't do it cognitively. That's actually how a reality gets created. Did you know that? So when I say this reality, I'm actually talking about what you were handed when you were born, the rules and the regulations of your family, the rules and the regulations of your society, the rules and the regulations of the planet, and all the physical laws of reality, all that stuff. For example, the rules of this reality say that you can't move your body from here to Fiji instantaneously. I say, why not? Let's change that. Wouldn't it be a lot of more fun? We may not succeed in changing it today, but let's head in that direction and see what it shows up. As a motivational speaker in high school who changed my life with this phrase says, shoot for the moon. If we miss and hit the stars, that's not half bad. Instead, please share the Kindle link, guys. Someone is asking. Instead, we are trying to make all the parts of this reality work right so we can be happy rather than creating what we would really like to have, even if it's totally different than this reality. We think there must be something right about this reality if everybody's choosing it and everybody's telling us it's right. I mean, it must be right, right? The ongoing scenarios in our heads is something like judgment must be right, family must be right, school must be right, money must be right. I am probably the only one who doesn't get it right and keeps feeling wrong. But what if all these things that are supposed to be right are wrong for you? What if there were a totally different way of looking at this? Here is one possibility to consider. The reality you have been given does not work. You don't have to choose it anymore if you don't want to. With that awareness, what would you truly like to choose as your life? If you truly knew that this were a free will universe, what would you start choosing right away? Did you guys question yourself? If you would be you, who would you truly be? Anybody? Did did anybody get the awareness? Nobody did the home play. Yay, Rohini, thank you. So were you good with it? Yeah, cool.
Yep. And I'm sure as the book continues, it'll
yeah,
evolving.
keep going. Awesome.
Yeah.
People who have not started, don't be guilty. It's fine. It's just fine. I was just giving you a reminder. You can still go to it. We still have a lot of days coming in. Just giving you a reminder. What if you were the master of your universe? If you have heard the idea that we live in free will universe, we are told that this is one of the laws of the universe, one of the ways this weird and wacky place functions. My question is, if that is true, why do our lives look the way they do? Why does the world? It's a free will universe. Then why do we keep believing that we can't choose to change our money situations or the way our body feels or the relationships we keep creating over and over and over with the same person, just in different body? And why do we keep choosing trauma and drama, poverty, unhappiness, separation, anger, hate, and judgment? Why is it we seem to be unable or unwilling to change all of that? We may be cute, but we definitely aren't that bright. My point of view is that we must be missing something about the idea that it's a free will universe. So what I would like to do is take the idea of free will universe and invite you to recognize it. In other words, let's use the power to choose and your power to change. Let's use them to change the past that has been limited and not work for you and create a different present and a different future where be you and change the world. Where you be you and change the world. Doesn't that sound like fun? I thought so. We all seem to have this idea, this point of view of exactly what it's going to take to have what we desire in life. What if something totally different were required? It must be. If you don't have the world you would like to live in and the life you would like to have, then what you thought is it was going to take to get that must be incorrect. Does that make sense? As long as we stick to the point of view that Change can only occur in the one way we decided it would be. That isn't working. We will always look in the wrong direction for the source of change. All of us. Would you be willing to let go of destroy and uncreate, at least for the time it takes you to read this book? All the projections, expectations, separations, decisions, conclusions, judgments, rejections, and point of view that you have bought of what it would take it to change your life and the world. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot for culture, boys and beyonds. Thank you. What else can show up now? I mean, really, what do you have to lose? Finding the free will universe, or at least how I started to find mine. See, I used to have a lot of answers, or at least I pretended I did. 10 years ago, I was starting my second practice, and I even had some patients. I was making almost enough to pay my rent. Oh, joy. I had a girlfriend that everybody said was a perfect girl for me. I had everything that was supposed to make you happy here, except loads of money, but that wasn't that important to me. I had tried every single modality for inner peace I could find, but I was still dying inside. So I told the universe, you have 6 months and I'm killing myself. I have been here working for you, trying to bring awareness to people, trying to change their lives and their bodies, and trying to change things for the better on the planet. And nothing is coming back to me. I hate waking up in the morning. If that's the way it's got to be, fine. But I am killing myself. Either things change or I am out of here. I didn't just mean out of my relationship with Santa Barbara, I meant out of this life. Then there has to be some place happier, some other body, some other life. I will come back as a gypsy or as a Pacific Islander when I get to hang out in the island all day. Or maybe I'll come back as a rock filler and have buckets of money. There has to be something different. There has to be something better. Maybe some other planet. I was willing to end it because I got to the point where what was not enough. I knew it, and it gave me this place of being able to not have as valuable what I had decided was valuable in the past. Everything that I had decided was valuable I had, and it wasn't valuable. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever been there even briefly to that place? If so, this book will probably make a lot of sense to you. Literally a week after I made this demand, I saw an ad in the paper, a tiny little classified ad. It said, Access, all of life comes to you with ease, joy, and glory, and it had girl's phone number. My reaction was, Pollyanna, put an ad in the paper. I was furious. My life is in pain, suffering, and glorying. And Gauri, what are you talking about? Ease, joy, and glory? What is that? I literally throttled the paper and threw it away. Now, this paper comes out once in a week in Santa Barbara, and the next week I saw the ad again. Access, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. But long before seeing this ad, I had realized that if you are in total resistance to someone, to something, there's probably something in for you. You just don't know what it is yet. So since I just wanted to kill the person who put the ad in the paper, I called her and made an appointment. Call it divine inspiration, call it insanity, call it grasping for a lifeboat just before the Titanic. That was my life made its final shuddering plunge into the abyss. The phone call literally gave me access to my life, and I have not been able to squeeze myself into a box that used to be ever again. I'm so grateful. I had a session with the girl, an access bar session, a simple process of touching points on the person's head. After the session, I had my first sense of peace I had in almost 3 years. It was first time I remember knowing everything was okay. Everything always had been, and everything always would be. I never contemplated suicide again. One tool, one thing, a process that looked about an hour from someone I would never even met before, and it changed the energy of my whole life and what I knew was possible. That is what I'm hoping to share with you in this book, the energetic awareness that a different energy is possible for you too, because it's the energy of your life you're looking to change. I used to do all things, all these spiritual modalities, and then think I want to change this thing and this thing. But even if the thing changed, if the energy was still the same, it didn't matter. Do you know what I mean? The vibration of you. Any questions coming up, guys? Are all good?
Sachin has wrote, by the way, who was that girl who gave access bars to Dane?
Shannon. Shannon O'Hara. Sachin wants to know the name of all the girls. I like that, Sachin.
True that.
Vibration of you. When you change the
Radha,
energy.
can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
So what's the difference between energetic awareness and energy? So these three are kind of confusing.
It's the aware. And so what is the confusion? Energy, energetic awareness, and what else? Did you
And
say?
awareness. See,
Awareness is just, so awareness is energetic. So it can be through your body also. It can be through your senses also. Everything is energy, right? But then right now, that is how we say energetic. It can be through your body as well. But it was just the sense of energy that moment. It's like, that that this person is going to call you up. That's an energetic awareness. And it's the energy flows to you, and that's just an awareness. Awareness just is. It has no value to it, no ifs and buts to it. It just is. But he's saying energetically, not through the body, not through the ache or the pain, but he knew it, right?
Okay.
Sometimes you just say you know it. That is it.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome. Thanks for the question.
I was wondering, maybe you gave the session, that's why I asked.
Yeah, definitely 24 years back, I gave the session to Dana. How would I have been like that lucky girl? Yeah. What else is possible, Sachin? The vibration of you. When you change the energy, the outward situations of your life change as if by magic. For example, have you ever noticed that people seem to move slower when you are in a huge hurry? Have you noticed that when you decide for whatever reason you're no longer in a hurry, that people speed up again? That's because you changed your energy. Have you ever walked into a room and changed the energy of it without even trying? Or had a friend who was having a bad day, and when you talked to them or hugged them, or they brightened up? What created that change? Was it what you said, or some psychological technique, or your very being? It was your being that changed them. It is the energy you be, the vibration of you, the essence of you that is actually the totality of you, that is the thing that exists beyond everything you think. It is you embracing the entire world. One of the things I have discovered is true is that when you step into being something, you simply become the energy. It invites everyone around you to be it too, if they are willing to have it. If they are not willing to have it, it puts that energy into their world so they can have it when they are ready. When they are ready. It could be 20 years from now, it could be 1,000,000,000 years from now. Who cares? And guys, that is how you create magic. When you see somebody joyful, happy, or say exuberant, say hot, say anything, something that really attracts you. Like that's Khushbu was telling to me, like, when she saw me for the first time, she had this grand, glorious sense of me. But that stayed with her, right? So it's like always been there. That's how the ask gets created. And that's like, oh, I'll have that. That you don't even have to say it, but it's like, I'll have that. And that is how you create the magic in your life. Angela says me too. Thanks, Angela. So yeah, so I'm just talking about the energy here. So this is how people say how to ask. It's not the ask, it's the joy of looking. And so what invitation would you guys like to be in the world? And what invitation you are already being that you are not acknowledged? And everything that is can be destroyed and get all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pork, online, share, birds and yours. And by the way, Khushbu, when you can see it, you definitely have it in yours. Just wanted to say, and Angela and everybody who was going to say that to me. And I'm just saying that.
I have a question.
I can only answer you when I see your beautiful face.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm a demanding bitch.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Chaji.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
So basically, I feel that I don't want to choose in my life. So I don't have that willingness. बदलनी है चीजें, but that willingness I don't find in me. So what to do in this case?
Nothing. Do nothing. Just acknowledge it. I don't want to change it, and it's fine. It's working for me.
But it is not working.
Yeah. So, but then don't judge that also. But you can see that oh, it's not working for me, and I'm yet choosing it again and again and again. That's just a choice. You're saying that you're not choosing, but you're choosing. But till the day it will be coming to that extent that it will not really work for you, that energy will show up and then you will change it. But till that moment, do not judge you. Okay, it's my choice. Every day tell yourself, when you're going through that pain and agony and the suffering, which you're not enjoying and it's not working for you, hey, my choice. Amazing choice. I'm a grand, glorious creator. And then one day you'll remember, oh, I can create this. I can create something else too. You know, when you know cooking and you know how to make a dal and a sabzi and something, oh, if I can make this sabzi, I can make another sabzi too, right? A vegetable too. So it's just a choice. Cool. Does that make it easy? But you remember, do not judge you for that. It's okay. Whatever. What if you have to do nothing and change nothing about you? Can you receive you as you? And the secret of everything, I'll tell you, is you already it. You know, what you like working towards, that I'm like, one day I'll read something or I'll be doing nothing. This is it. But you'll get it when you get it. Remember this call of mine I told you. It's it. It is what it is. And everything that is can be destroyed and get all.
I had a question.
Yes, please. Who's Anuradha?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, you know, you were saying like, you know, when you go to a nature or anywhere surrounding nature, there is no judgment. Nature doesn't have any judgment of you. But when there is some being in front of you or some reality, then you have a judgment. So this nature or our house or our computer or what, all these entities, so they're all non-living. So they are non-living things. So they cannot have any judgment. They cannot have any judgment. So
that's an interesting point of view. So what energy you put in them also comes back to you. You know, so when I was a young baby, I used to talk to everybody, even my table chair. I still talk to them. That's a very interesting point of view that they do not have. But yeah, they don't have a judgment to you unless you put a judgment on them and give them some job to do it.
Okay.
So like something will really, really mean a lot to keep it. I'll hold this thing. Something really become your favorite. This is my favorite dress, my jewelry piece, or my, you know, television or whatever. The energy you be to it. But your point of view creates your reality.
Yeah, but somebody, when there is somebody in front of us, तभी ही judgment होता है ना. तो उस समय हमें अपने आप को कैसे control करने का?
Just have to acknowledge that person's judgment, and when the person is judging to you. So sorry, I'll repeat your question because there is a person from Russia who's here. She doesn't get Hindi, so she's asking the question that if somebody is actually judging you, Agnes, then how to be then, and the people who are in Hindi, let me know. I'll translate that too for you. So the thing is, at that point, you have to just acknowledge one, okay, are you reacting to the judgment or are you being with the judgment? And believe me, trust me, when people are judging you and saying something, they're only talking about themselves. They're only talking about themselves. Do not make it yours. And that is the information they're giving you about themselves. And what space can you be for them to change it? Like Anita, when we started, she said that when you go to the beach and, you know, sometimes people do cry when they really want to, feeling low, and that is when we go into the nature and sit in the park or go to the beach and we cry. It's because nature is just standing like this, like a mom, like, you know, or somebody who doesn't want to judge you, and just, even the mothers judge these. It's like, but you know, that whole nature that I'm not going to judge you. And you just want to cry your heart out. So what space can you be for those people who are judging you? For me, it's like, wow, okay. And my world now, and I won't say it came in a day, and I still at times go into it. But most of it, I'm like, I'm willing to be that space now for people. I'm like, okay, I get it. And I don't react. Like, okay, that's fine. They're judging me.
What clearings can we give here?
So it's not about the clearing. I would say, Anuradha, you'll have to acknowledge more and be present and just be an interesting point of view that this person has this point of view about himself or myself, or I have about myself. Make it as a very, very interesting thing rather than aligning or disagreeing with it. Cool?
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Welcome. Yes, Pallavi had a question. Yeah, Pallavi.
Very similar to this question. Hi, Aradhana.
Hi, Salman.
We often talk about observing and not judging. But while we are an observer, I have seen with myself, we ultimately get into judgment. How can we
so
stop
I
that?
very recently, day before I learned this technique, do not observe. Go back to your work, what you were doing.
Okay.
So just distract yourself from that and go back, because you will not stop, thought will not stop coming in. So the way is either you go back to your breath work, go to a chant, or go to something what you were doing before that.
Okay, when we say okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm
Who's
Neha.
that? Yeah, Neha.
Yeah, when we say okay, so aren't we aligning to what they're saying? Like if we say okay, I am this.
What is required in that space? I mean, okay does not mean has to be okay within you. It's not okay, not okay. It's an interesting way. But it's like sometimes you're saying in your head, wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, okay, sure. But in my head, it's like, wow, interesting point of view.
Okay.
I used to say that a lot. I used to really use it a lot. Like when I learned Access, and I was like, interesting point of view, you have this point of view. And anybody would say, interesting point of view, you have this point of view. And, my family would have period got it that, this is an Access slang. So anytime my facilitator used to come home, because we all became so friends, and they're like, can you stop this woman? She's all the time interesting point of view. And anytime in the class, yeah. So that way you make people repel in the house. And I learned it my way. So my husband, my son, nobody wanted to be like around. They're like, all the time she's like using these tools. And I was very hell-bent. I was like, this is me, leave me, drop me. But if this is changing my life, I'm going to be like this. And I kept going. And then, in the classes, Gary and everybody still says that don't use Access language. I'm the first one I use the Access language all the time. I think I've become the Access language. When I had this habit of learning by saying it out loud, like how babies do, I still do that. So somewhere that little baby is still there in me, and I'm like, okay, ऐसे learn करना. So because I only can learn it this way. I don't have a learning way of like keeping it mum and keep it in. Anyway, but then I stopped doing it, and I really practiced. Okay, I'll just go in and talk. It's not kind on other people's when I'm talking that, and if they already know what it means, so let's not get into that. And I kept doing interesting point of view to myself that I had this point of view. And then I started doing it like having a lunch or something, and they're sitting and they're saying something. I'm like, yeah, correct. And they're like, Pakka, I'm sure she's saying interesting point of view inside. I said, love, you're getting inside me also, like whatever I'm saying. So my whole, family got it. Like with my expression, they get it. Like, it's no point telling her anything. She's always an interesting point of view. So what fun can you have playing? But I will always suggest, see, if I'll say not do it, you will do it more. Because the people used to say, we not do it, I used to do it. So choose your way, how you want to go with it, but make it an interesting point of view.
Yeah, yesterday I was shouting in my home, interesting point of view and everything. And I was having fun.
Yeah, but that is going to make them rebel, and yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of jokes in my family around the Access, but I still don't give up. I am a woman who will never give up. So what else is possible? Yeah, awesome. Great. Let's go. Any other questions?
You said interesting point of view, and after that, what did you say?
If I have a point of view about myself, I'll say interesting point of view. I have this point of view. If anybody is saying something about me, interesting point of view, this person has this point of view about me. So it's a point of view, right? That's a judgment.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting way of that person looking at us.
Yeah.
So just make it simpler. Cool.
Thank you.
Aradhana, we have some questions in the chat.
All right. Sure. Let's do it quickly. Yeah.
We listening, Nidhi.
Nidhi.
मैं कह रही हूँ क्वेश्चन नहीं है, वाव है जो तुमने कहा, ऑब्जर्व करके चेंज द डायरेक्शन.
See, I get the tools, I give you tools. I'll keep learning, finding myself, and thank you for asking. Welcome.
Shravna has.
Yeah.
How can we use jealousy to our advantage?
Oh, that's the biggest gift you can have. I mean, I'm sure you're so amazing that people are jealous about you. and I love it. And that's my deep thing to go. And I'm like, literally, wait, who's jealous around me? Because then you love wearing your clothes, and you love wearing being seen, and otherwise there's no fun. So if somebody is being jealous of you, definitely you have something special. So acknowledge that about you. And the moment you'll acknowledge that special about you, the only bad part of it is that jealousy goes away, but then there's no fun getting dressed up. And like, I had somebody in my family who used to be really jealous, and I was like, is that person coming to the party or not? Then I had to really wear my jewelry, get dressed, and it was so much of fun. And when I gave up my point of view, it finished. That whole energy dissipated. But that person became really sweet to me and very kind. But I missed that jealousy part. So how I used it to my advantage was getting dressed up, getting more stuff, enjoying myself. Wonder how you want to do it, Sarvana. No. I am finding a Rohini, but that is why we. Any other questions?
So, yeah, Smriti also has. Smriti, will you ask?
Smriti, can you ask your question?
I know. They are writing. Why don't they ask? Guys, show up and ask your questions.
Yeah.
Yes,
I just wanted to ask Aradhana, is gossiping and judging are same?
Where is your face? Who am I talking to?
You're talking to me, Aradhana.
Yeah. Yes, now you talk. Now you're talking.
So I just wanted to know that is gossiping and judging same?
Is
like
it?
While we gossip? Because when we gossip, because when we gossip, we tend to judge a lot of people around us.
I gossip a lot. I learned gossiping after coming to Access because I used to hate gossiping. Like how? I will only go and stand with men. I will never stand with women because I was like, oh, I can't just take this shit. And I hardly had any women friend in my life because I was like, they're always gossiping. Because there I had a point of view, which means I'm gossiping more. Having no point of view is also a point of view, right? So it's the energy that you start putting into it. So what if you can be like with the gossip and then like, yeah, okay. And it's so much fun. I learned it with Gary, and I asked Gary, so what about the gossiping thing? Because I hated it. And I'm like, and he kept telling in the classes, why don't you just like, yeah, and then, and what? And just participate and have fun. And I actually started playing with, OMG, this is so much fun. I'm like, then what did you say? Then what did the other person say? Wow, oh, lovely. But I have no point of view on it. So people now have stopped gossiping in front of me. I literally have to pick them up. Can I have any gossip from you guys? But if you don't have a judgment that you're gossiping, then there is no value to it. There's no value to the judgment. The value to the judgment is given that you're judging that I'm judging. Okay, to any gossip or anything is the energy that I'm judging the judgment. Cool?
Thank you.
Awesome.
I need to ask one thing.
It's so funny, sorry. Go live the life the way you always want to live. You want to gossip, you want to chatter, do everything. Just don't judge it. It's so simple to live, yeah. Itna dimag kyun lagate ho? I mean, why do you have to put so much of mind in it? Yeah, Khushbu.
The same question, as in I don't speak a lot because usually mere aaju-baaju jitne bhi rehte na, they gossip a lot. Yeah, it is all about the.
When you have a because, it means you have a charge on it, sweetheart. That's what I shared with you myself. So what is the charge? Are you willing to be gossiped? And are you willing to gossip? If you're not, then you'll be gossiped all over. And then you'll say, people are jealous of me.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm able to like show myself because of that. That contracts me usually. People are gossiping about.
So are you aware? So what is the contraction?
I don't know. I feel okay if so much is happening about me, so I should be in my shell. I should not be with them. We are not.
So guys, did I tell you yesterday? No shoulds, no can'ts, no becauses. I did in one of the classes. This or the other one. So if you use all the shoulds, can'ts, must, any reasoning, you are into a judgment. Just because you can. I'm gossiping because I can. I'm dancing because I can. I'm screaming because I can. I'm getting angry because I can. What if there's no reasoning to it? Every time you're reasoning to yourself, you're killing yourself.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Okay, and I think that brings up and brings on. Kit destroy and kit all right and wrong good and bad. Now don't judge that I judge a lot. It's okay, I judge a lot. Yeah. I'm an amazing gossiper. It's fine. Cool. Let's go further. And we'll take more questions at the end. Finding the energy of me. I got this amazing gift 10 years ago when Gary Douglas, the founder of the Access Consciousness, walked into my office and asked for a session. I was practicing a chiropractic technique that had 3 levels of care at the time, and I had just started with the Access classes. When he walked in, Gary said, somebody has to mute themselves. I don't know who it is. When he walked in, Gary said, look, I know there are 3 levels of care to what you do. The first 2 levels don't work well for me. I'm sorry, you are going to have to go straight to the 3rd level. Basically, in my head, I was saying, oh crap, I have no idea what to do with this guy. I only had clients at level 1 and level 2 in my clinic at this time, and I had no idea how to treat someone in level 3. I just sat there until he said, look, just ask my body what it wants. Follow the energy. You will know what to do. One part of me went into the conclusion thinking what I will know what to do. Do you know who I am? I am the most pathetic practitioner of anything on the planet. I am the biggest idiot you have ever met. I am the one with an office about the size of a closet. I don't know anything. Another part went into the question, I do. When I started to work on him, I was in a completely different space. I knew what to do. Not cognitively, not in a way I could describe at the time, but my being knew. There was a knowing in me. In that moment, I stepped into a space of being I didn't know existed previously. I stepped into being me. In that space, I had access to me and to my knowing. There was no thought, just knowing. At one point while working on him, I was standing about 15 feet away from him on the other side of the room, and he was flopping around on the table like a fish. I was moving my hand in the air just because it felt like the right thing to do. Each time I would move my hand right, his head would turn right. Each time I moved my hand left, his head would turn left. He was face down. He couldn't see me at all. That first session I had with him was the very first session I had ever done of something I know called the energetic synthesis of being, ESB. It was the beginning of the entirely different way of working with bodies, using the energy of the body and being to erase limitation permanently in many cases. Now I travel the world facilitating people with the ESB work. One of the greatest gifts I get is to receive the testimonials and the letters of gratitude from people whose lives are changed from it. Please know, we all have a capacity to create a world as a better place for ourselves and others, simply by willing to be us and be as different as we are. We just have to find out what this is for us and be willing to choose it. The world needs you. What are you waiting for? What do you know you have been pretending not to know or denying that you know about who and what you truly are? I didn't know what I knew until I became it. What can you become if you just allow yourself to let go and trust and be it? Finding the energy of you. If no one ever teaches you how to be, how can you step into an awareness of what it's like to be you? One thing that can assist is to look for times in the past when you chose to truly be you. These were the times when you had no thought, no judgment, total peace and joy in just being with no point of view. Oh yeah, you probably also had a sense of exuberance and possibility. Those were the times when you were being you. Let me give you an example from my life that may assist. One year I volunteered to ride to California AIDS Ride. It's a 600-mile bike ride over the course of a week, and you ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles. The reason I volunteered to be a rider for this amazing event is because the previous year, in my last year in chiropractic college, I volunteered as a student chiropractor to treat riders for the same event. All the money raised by the riders went to the services for people who had HIV or AIDS. We were the ones helping the riders make it through the week. A chiropractic volunteers, we were on the front lines treating the riders who desperately needed our services. Many times over the course of the week-long event, I was brought to tears by the courage of the riders I had fortune of treating. There were grandmothers, grandfathers, brothers, sisters, lovers, parents, and friends riding because their loved ones had HIV or were dying of AIDS. There were people with HIV who were riding to tell the disease, you don't own me. You may eventually kill me, but not today, and not without a fight. The courage of these people had their lack of judgment, and the sense of communion we all shared inspired me to this day. This ride was one place I had been where there was a large group of people and no one was judging anyone else. It was one of the first times I had ever experienced that everybody was there to assist and empower everyone else. There was a greatness that I perceived possible in that. And I said to myself, you know what? I have got to contribute to this. Next year, I am going to ride this damn thing. Even though I hadn't been on the bike since I was 16, I made the demand that I get a bike and learn to ride it. I bought a bike from a fellow chiropractic student that was a former racer. I started out very slowly at first and trained myself for several months. I did everything I could to raise $2,500 required to ride, and I had some amazingly generous people donate to me so that I could pursue this dream. Finally, after months of preparation and fundraising and learning to actually ride a bike again, I was on the ride. I was riding alongside people who should not have been able to ride a bike of 600 miles ever. And they were there riding because it meant so much to them. And it did the previous year. The ride opened my being to a whole new awareness of what we, as people of working together, are capable of. On the really long hills, many people were like, I don't think I can make this. I think I'm going to drive first. On many of them, I would ride up the hill and then I would ride back down, cheering people on from the other side of the road. And then I would ride back up the same hill, still cheering and yelling, riders, you can do it. This hill can't stop you. You are kidding. But go riders. This was one of the first times in my adult life that it was clear to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was being a contribution to other people. When these people saw that someone cared about them enough to cheer them on and ride these amazingly long hills twice to do so, it gave many of them the strength to continue. One lady, apparently remembering my registration number and my bike, came up to me at a rest stop and told me that my riding back down the hill and cheering the riders on inspired her to continue riding that way. She said she was almost exhausted and she asked God for help, and 20 minutes later, I rode by cheering like a crazy man. She said she laughed and cried and carried on. At which point I cried, we embraced, and I realized what a gift we can all be to each other if we choose to be it. In that gifting, I was also receiving so much contribution simultaneously, it's hard to put it into words. So I hope you get the energy I'm trying to convey. This is one of the examples that I have got from my life of what it feels like when I truly being me, with no judgment, no point of view, but also with a sense of exuberance and possibility. When I wrote this event, riding up and down hills the second time, I could no longer deny the energy of what it was like to be me. How much energy have you used against you to deny the energy of what it's like to be truly you? Everything that is, would you destroy and unkid all peace, right and wrong? And claim, acknowledge how amazing you really are. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot talk, online show, boys and beyonds. That week changed my whole life, and I have been different ever since. It is a part of the reason I had the courage to stay alive when I really wanted to kill myself. Somewhere I knew that energy and the possibility for being was there because I could never totally deny it after the experience. I had on the AIDS on ride. I knew it was there. I just couldn't access it at the time. Why the story from my life? To get you to look at yours. When have you been so dynamically, unquestionably you, with the exuberance, the peace, and the no judgment you know you really are? Not everyone can go on the AIDS ride. So let me give you a slightly different example. When I was 6-year-old, my mom took me to Idaho to visit my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and other family members. One of the great things about those years in a small town, Idaho, was that a 6-year-old could walk to the local store on his own. That is just what I did. I went to the store and I took all the money that I received from my latest birthday that I had been saving up for my trip, and I used it all to buy little tins of lip gloss for my grandmother and each aunt and uncle that I was going to visit. It brought me such joy to hand them each my little gift. It apparently brought them joy too. They smiled and most of them cried, especially when, unbeknownst to me, my mother let them know that I had taken all my own money, gone to the store on my own and purchased these items because I wanted to give them a gift. This is another example that I have looked back on when I have wanted to know what it feels like to be. I think the generosity that 6-year-old had and the willingness to spend this last penny to make others happy, I think was of that what whenever I feel strange about money or whenever I feel is judgment of me. Somehow it reminds me that there's something else available for me to choose. The really important question here, what else is available for you to choose that you haven't chosen? Maybe for you for a very long time. Everything that doesn't allow you to be everything that you truly can be, will you please destroy and unkid all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all nature, birds and beyonds. Having your reality is not about anyone else, nor does it require anyone else's point of view, nor it's dependent on anyone else for you to have it. You can have it now, if you will demand it. Would you be willing to demand that more of your life to show up like that now? And everything that doesn't allow to show up for you, destroy and unkid all, right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, all nature, birds and beyonds. Would you please now look over your life at 3 times? You guys can do it right now along when I'm reading. Would you please now look over your life 3 times when you know you were truly being you and write them down below with some details to jog your memory and awareness. These were times when you had no judgment, total peace, a joy in being alive, and probably a sense of exuberance too. Hopefully, examples I have given you will assist. Don't think too much about it. Just go with the first 3 examples that come to mind. And if you have more than 3, please keep writing. Please use another piece of paper if you require one. So all of you remember? Or have you gone like way past that you don't have anything nice to say about yourself? You have, Indu. Awesome. So please write it down, guys. And it's such an amazing to actually, it's so teary. Like when you're reading it also, it's like, wow. And we, each one on this platform is such a gift, like in our own way, special. And I wish if you can actually stop making that wrong and using it to advantage and just acknowledging it more so that more people can receive you. And more important, that you can receive you. Everything that brings up brings on. Can we just try and get off? Yes, Indu.
With all this, it comes to me. I was a person like this, what pain was. But gradually, I don't know what happened. I've changed a lot.
What happened, Indu?
Maybe all the judgments of the people.
And you gave up yourself for that?
I gave up myself for that.
Would you like to change that today?
Yes.
I mean, are you willing to have your back? Even you are the only person on the planet. That reminds me of my dad, and he used to see my hand, and that was his hobby to watch, like look at hands and read the horoscopes and stuff. And every time I would go back to him, he never used to tell his kids what's going to happen, what life is all about. And he's like, everything is good, everything is good. So the only thing you used to say in my hand is like, your loved ones are not going to come back to you and give you anything. Whatever you do for everybody, but you will not be reciprocated about it. And I would get charged up and I'm not going to do it for anybody. And every time I come, and that is my inherent nature, being that, like being really gifting and like whatever. It just feels fun to me. So, and I'm like getting that whole conflictual reality every time. And then I'm like, one day I actually went, when my dad was seeing after years, I think 10, 12 years, my dad was just again seeing my hand, like saying again, I said, Papa, I am not giving up myself. And I'm not doing this to get anything in return. Do not let me know this thing again, ever. I don't want to hear it out at all. Because that doesn't change me. If they are not willing to receive me, that doesn't mean I give up myself and who I be. I'm still going to choose that. And every time I did after that, or whatever I was in, I always acknowledge that I'm not here looking for an answer or any gift back or return. But that was a give and take. Like, I'm not interested. I'm just happy who I be. So everybody, wherever you have given up yourself, just because you were judged or you were made wrong and you wanted to be validated by people, would you today give up all that? And could you bring that kindness in you up now here?
Yes.
And what if that is the yes, Naveen.
Yeah, I also used to see the hands of my girlfriends. After seeing their hands, they would ask me, "Yeah, what did you see?" And I used to say, it felt very nice holding your hand.
So most of the men did that. So I knew that because I knew how to read the hands. So I would see men's hands to know that is he flirting around or is he actually going to be there? It's like till date, my eyes go to the hands. Like the first person I meet, I'm like, my eyes go to the hand because it was funny. I didn't even know how to read hands, but I could sense it because now I know it's because I have my capacities. But that time, I didn't learn it so much from dad that I could really read that. But I can make it. So I get you, Naveed. Totally get you on, bang on. Thank you, Sherry.
What if that makes you a doormat and you realize it's a very...
What did I?
What if that makes you a doormat? People think like you are a doormat.
Makes you doormat? How can that make you feel doormat? Who other than you can make you feel doormat? How is that possible? How do people make you feel anything?
When you realize that you are being used for your kindness and for being you.
And when you realize it, then it's like, okay, what was right about it? And now change it? Or you will keep dwelling into that old story and give another 10 years of yours? I mean, change it now. The moment you've gone, that's the beauty of acknowledgement. And that's when I always say acknowledgement is the key to magic. So now the moment you got it, oh, I'm in a doormat. Okay, now I'm changing now here. Or you want to put them wrong, take them to the court, get them punished by who?
No.
Or are you punishing yourself? To change it. It's simple. Get out of your stories. But I'm not here to listen to stories. I'm not going to listen to anybody's story. I'm giving you the truth. Give up. This is how you're killing yourselves, guys, with your stories. Stop the stories. But because OMG, how much are you killing you? Choice. Cool. Let's go further. If you use these 3 examples you just wrote down, you will have an awareness of what it's like to truly be you. So what you have something to aim for, something to recall as the energy of you, and something to request of the universe to gift you more of. These examples are what it feels like when you are truly being you. That feeling, that energy is your new starting point. For the next 3 days, every time you think about it, just recall one of these times when you were truly being you and ask this question: what will it take for more of that to show up now? You are on your way to having more of you already. How does it get any better than that? Getting the living you truly desire, you, the universe, and the energy bubble. Most of us have been told that in order to create something, we need to put our desire out there in order to create it. I have found that it is just the opposite. I have found that inviting in what you would like your life to be is far more effective. Want to give it a shot? Please know this is not a visualization. It's a creation by request of the universe. It's a way of asking and receiving from the infinitely gifting universe we live in by speaking its language. That's of energy. Ready for something different? So here it goes. Call up the energy of the world or what you would like to have as your life. If you could ask for and have anything at all, what would it be? If there were absolutely no limitations in your world regarding time, money, creative and generative capacity, what would you ask for? You know why I laughed? It's because I got into a lot of heads and I had a very funny stuff coming up. So podding that. So let's go back to this exercise again. And I'm not going to get into any of your heads. I'm just like working here. So call up the energy of what you would truly like to have as your life. If you would ask for and have anything at all, what would it be? If there were absolutely no limitations in your world regarding time, money, creative and generative capacities, what would you ask for? If you had a magic wand that could make anything come true for you now, what would you choose right away? Now, get the way it would feel to have all of those things showing up for you. Don't think too much about it. Just ask for it, whatever it is. Would you like to be able to have a nice home that has a particular feel to it? I'm not saying getting the picture of a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom place. No, get the way it would feel to you to have the place in which you would love to live. Would you like to be able to travel? Would you like to do work for you thoroughly enjoyed? Every day when you went to whatever it is you do, it was exciting, joyful, new, and changed all the time, and you gave more of you every single day. Would that be exciting for you? get the way that would feel too. I'm just giving you some possibilities. You can add any of your own that you desire. So get the way that would feel, put that energy in front of you, sort of like an energy bubble, if you will. Now that kind of relationships or sex would you like to have there? If you would have anything in that realm, what would it feel like to have that, to wake up with that, to have that in your life, to have it around you, with you? What kind of relationships would you have with your family, your friends? And what kind of relationship would you have with the planet and with the plants, with the animals, with the oceans, with the earth itself, and the very land under our feet? What type of a fun would you like to allow yourself to have and be? Get the way that would feel. How would you feel on daily basis if you could have it? Put that in there too. Now pull energy into that energy bubble of feeling from all the universe, all over the universe. Keep pulling more. And the universe is very large and it desires to gift you, so pull more. There, that's it. What should be happening is that our heart is opening up as you pull more energy into these things you actually desire. It's a really big universe. Don't stop where you are. Big universe. Thank you. Pull energy into from all over the universe. Keep pulling until your heart really opens up. When it does, be with that energy for it for a moment, and then let the trickles go to the everyone and everything that's going to help to make that a reality for you from all over the universe that you don't even know yet. This energy bubble you created based on getting how it would feel to have your life show up the way you desire it. It's not actually based on just feelings. It is based on an awareness of the energy that would be there if you actually had what you are asking for. It's just that feeling is the easiest way to describe it. So go for that feeling, because you will be going for the energy of the living you would like to create. After all, you choose it. Let's create it. Everything that doesn't allow that to show up, would you destroy and unket all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, online, share, boys and beyonds. All the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections you have about what life has to be that don't allow your living to be what it could be, will you destroy and unket peace? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot, pock, online, share, boys and beyonds. That's a way of having an energy that you can follow to generate the living you desire. When something shows up and that has energy to it, in other words, when it feels the way that energy bubble feels, you can choose to go there. For example, if you're deciding between two different jobs, one feels a lot more like that energy, do that one. Or if you're deciding between two different people to date and one feels a lot more like that energy bubble, date that one, and so on, with food, cars, trips, houses, courses to attend, books to buy, etc. In that way, you will know whether a person or a class or a book will contribute to your life you would really like to have before you ever spend any time and money on it. How does it get any better than that? Now you may get closer to this energy of your living. You may get further away from it, but it can always be an awareness of what it's like to choose for you. You can use that as a litmus test for something you are going to choose. Does this feel like that energy bubble? Is this going to be my closer to what I desire? Does this give me more of me? Does this get me closer to having more of me, or does it get any further away? Then at least you will know you know. And it can be guideline for every single choice you make from here on out. The energy of you, the energy of your living. Cool, we will shut down it here as we have the next book club. Thank you all. It was beautiful, awesome. And how does it get any better than what else is possible? So I guys join you on the next book, whoever is coming and joining me for the Salon de Femme, whoever was there. We have a separate link and I'm sure it's in your mails where you have registered. Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much. Radha, can I just say a few lines? One thing I came across, I thought it would be of interest.
Quickly, because you have a call. Yeah.
Life is an echo. What
life is an
echo. Life
echo.
Is an echo.
You're echoing.
Echo.
Life is in
echo.
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 I cannot hear you at all. Life is an echo. Are you coming for the Salon de Femme? Are you coming for Salon de Femme?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
tell me
think
there.
Zoom link is the same, na? Aradhana? Zoom links?
No, it's not the same.
It's
no, it's not
the
the
link.
same.
Please check on your mails. Please check the mail properly.
It'll be on the mails.
Check
It'll be a different link.
The link we have posted will work for all the days for being you the same link and for Salon de Fame, the same link. You can enter from the same link, Delhi.
There is there are two links. One is for Being You. One is for Salon de Femme.
Yeah.
And it remains same every day, but we'll have to log out of this link and get into that link.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. See you there.
See you there. We are getting late now.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.